folks. Family. Well, family has always been a complicated subject for me. I grew up with experiences that were far from, in my opinion, far from ideal. My dad died young from Alzheimer's disease. And my grandfather on my mother's side, whose house we lived in, was not always endearing. Christmases were often the most difficult. And many of my memories of family are mixed. I've learned that while you can choose your friends, you cannot choose your family. And that truth has shaped much of my life. As I grew older, I realized how much my personality reflects my mother and my grandfather. Their stubbornness and strong-mindedness live in me, whether I like it or not. Families often want their children to be copies of them, and in many ways I became one. Yet, despite the challenges, I never completely lost connection with my family. Yes, we had disagreements, but we never reached the point of permanent separation. Looking back, I try to remember the good times and avoid dwelling on the bad times, because holding on to bitterness does nothing for my personal well-being. Yes, I do have regrets. There were times when I treated my family with disregard, and I wish I had shown them more love. They may have regrets too, or may have had regrets too, as they've all now passed on, about how they treated me. But that's the past. Now that they have, as I said, all gone and passed on, those reflections weigh heavily. But they also remind me of the importance of cherishing what you have while you have it. Today I live alone with my 2 cats. I don't regret that. I see friends who have partners and children and grandchildren, and I respect their lives, but don't envy them. Years ago I might have wanted that too for my life, but now, well, no. Solitude suits me. I am content with it. Family, in the traditional sense, is no longer part of my daily life, but it remains a powerful influence on who I am as a person. In the footsteps of my father and mother, I have explored genealogy, tracing the lives of my ancestors and discovering their careers and experiences. It was fascinating, but I prefer my relatives, or my distant relatives as it were, to remain that distant. Families can become insular, even isolating, and I have no desire to be drawn into that. When I look at the world, I see broken families and strong ones. I know both are part of humanity's story. My family was not normal, but what is normal? No family is truly normal, I believe. What matters is that it shaped me, and I carry on those lessons and carry those lessons with me for the rest of my life. Thank you, and See you next time.